Pretty good? We're really excited about the potential of winning a 360 camera, aren't we? Nah, no, not at all. So today we are going to cover a wide range of things, including where we came from in 360, where we are right now, because that's a handy dandy little device. And then we're going to cover, and we're going to go right into the basics of kind of editing 360 with the software that we feature here in the Ed Low Creative Studios. We have popular Adobe products, so we will be working with Premiere today. And in front of you guys, you all have computers loaded with Premiere 2017. The 2017 is important because actually after 2015 is when they started incorporating that 360 video editor. Okay, so let's get started. Just kidding. So let's start off with what 360 is and what it's not. Okay, often we hear 360 video as VR. Kinda, sorta, kinda. So here's a description of the popular terms that you probably hear for 360 video. 360 video, what we're working with today, allows you a full view of a location as though you are standing there. It's a first-person point of view with the 360-degree rotation. Okay? Virtual reality, which you often hear interchanged with 360, it actually tracks your head and eye movement, and you can interact with that scene. So you can make things in that scene, you can affect that scene. So that's the major difference. One, you just have a viewpoint in 360. VR, you can actually interact with your environment. You often will hear augmented reality as well. Augmented reality is you have your reality and then you're putting kind of like an overlay, and it blends your real world environment with virtual objects that are perfectly inserted into your field of view, and you often need a phone or another device to look at those overlays, okay? So now that you're kind of familiar with overlay, with the terminology, you can kind of differentiate between 360 and VR when you hear that, okay? So the first thing we're gonna look at is kind of where we've been. If you've ever seen this little device, what this is basically a house for a bunch of GoPros, okay? So we started even before then with pro cameras, but they started doing 360 and it started to become more and more popular with GoPros. Some of them house 6 GoPros. You can house 16 GoPros, and basically what you do is you put it in a ball, okay? And you can actually 3D print these rigs, which is pretty cool if you want to buy 16 GoPros. Ooh! That's really expensive. But, I mean, it gives great quality, okay? So your GoPros have this amazing quality, which we'll come back to later. So you have those, you're taking a bunch of different camera tracks, 16 or 6 different cameras, you're gonna combine them all together to make a globe, okay? You can use a bunch of different software. One of the ones that I've heard most positive things about is Adobe video software. Basically, it takes it into an editing software and it stitches the video together for you. So it takes all 6 video tracks, brings them all together and matches them up based on movement, based on sound, and then you have to adjust the horizon. Gets a little funky. A lot of work, very time consuming, great results, okay? You also will need to scrub video through a 360-degree metadata service. So when you upload video, basically you're telling YouTube and Facebook that you need to put that little 360 indicator in there and you need to make it round. So what it does is it actually stitches the video together to make it into a globe. Now I tell you all those things because all those processes are in one little thing now. Woohoo! Not as much work. I say that. So that's kind of where we are with multiple camera views, okay? Multiple camera inputs, stitching those all together, but then they started coming out with devices that do it for you, okay? So all of that work with stitching, with putting the metadata in there, with making it a globe, is in this one little device that's almost the size of a lipstick container. I mean, really? That's pretty awesome. What this has on there, we'll talk about here in a sec, but look at all the ones that are on the market right now. That's just one page of B&H search, okay? So we have everything from Nikon to LG to Sony. They're all putting out these 360 cameras that either have one lens, two lens, some of them have three lens, and then they stitch them together in either software or their device. So how our LG cameras work? Again, we looked at those three phases of kind of how to make it ready for upload and to produce it. So what this has is two different lenses. Each of these lenses have a 200-degree angle on them, okay? So 200, 200, okay? Stitch them together. The photos that it can do photo and video. Your photos are 16 megapixel, okay? And you can do a 360 selfie. Bringing up your selfie game. So it also captures in 2K resolution video. Okay, so it's not quite up to 4K. Some of them are. This one isn't, but it's still great resolution. You can also capture audio with this in surround sound. Facebook and YouTube currently support 360 video, Periscope-ish. Okay, so Periscope is throwing something out for Twitter right now, but as far as I know that I've researched, they're not quite letting that out to the masses yet. They only have a select few folks who are kind of trying that out, and they're trying out, of course, that live aspect of Periscope. You can go live with these ones, not necessarily, because they don't have the ability to go, but a lot of 360 cameras will have the ability to go live, okay? So this one actually has an app as well. The app is required for this, okay? It is called 360 Cam Manager, okay? In your app store, that's what it looks like, okay? So, you know, we've talked about kind of what we're doing here as far as the specs on this little bad boy, okay? 360 Cam Manager is actually what stitches your video together. So you can kind of like a GoPro, if you're used to a GoPro, you can run this thing off of your phone. You can also run it locally. There's this little button, okay? You can take pictures and start your video with this little button too. But in order to make it 360 compatible for Facebook and YouTube, you actually have to go through the app. So that's the catch, okay? You have to go through the app. So when you have this out, what you're going to do is you're going to place your video. These are kind of screenshots of 360 Cam, okay? You're going to put this anywhere you want. Drop it on in. And this is going to be your first screen, okay? When you log in, there is a password associated with this. It's conveniently should be right on the front here. It is, okay? There's a little password down there. So you log into the app, that's the first screen, okay? Your gallery is here, so you're going to be able to pull up everything that's on the LG camera. It does have an expandable memory card in there, so you can change out the memory card. It's just in the bottom. It's just a little mini, okay? You also charge it at the bottom too. And then you have a live view. So your camera, okay, produces this. It'll produce a 180 view of one side, and then you can switch it here, okay? So you can change that view so you can see exactly what you're looking at, just like a GoPro app, okay? We'll come back to that. Okay. So again, you can control this with the app. So you can literally go into the camera and press record, or you can do it locally. It's as simple as putting this somewhere, okay, and pressing record. It does it for you instead of hours and hours scrubbing video. Oh my gosh. Okay, so things to consider when shooting 360 video, okay? You have this great device. You have this really cool ability to do 360 selfies. What do you need to know, okay? So we think about regular video, and we think about how it's in one direction. There's an end and a start to the frame, okay? If you're talking to this guy right here, it can see everybody that way, okay? all of a sudden, you have this complete 360 field of view, okay? So the things to consider with this is number one, light, okay? What I often run into when I'm shooting is, let's say one half, so one side of this guy is in the shade. The other half of this guy is facing the sun, okay? So what you see when it stitches it is day and night. It's like bright light, dark. So you have to consider the evenness, the even throw of that light, okay? Get in somewhere where you don't have a real yellow tint to your light and a real blue tint. For example, it's beautiful up on the second floor and you have all that natural light, but as soon as you get by the reading room, it has yellow light because our lights are a little bit yellower, but as soon as you step into the sun, it's that beautiful blue natural light. So if you're shooting on the second floor, you're going to have a color temperature difference, and that's why you have to pay attention to your light, okay? Make sure it's an even light, same color temperature. The curve of the lens. So you're going to go into a globe, okay? There's going to be a little bit of a curve with whatever you're shooting. So if you're here, that's pretty all right, but it's kind of like a wide angle lens. It's exactly what it is. If you're here, you're going to be in like a circus kind of thing, because you're going to curve. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs curvature. So that also comes into play if you're putting titles, which we'll get into, on your 360 video, because you're not dealing with a flat surface. You're dealing with a globe, okay? So viewer perspective, who's played with Google Maps and Google Street View? I know we've all done it. We've all dropped ourselves somewhere. So it's like the little guy, yay, and then you drop him. That's a whole lot of fun. So this is exactly what this is. This is a viewer perspective, okay? So if you think about this, your viewer is in this camera, which is kind of weird to think about. But if you put him right here, when he's viewing the video, think about it from that perspective, okay? He's going to be sitting on this table. Do you ever put your face on this table? That's really weird, isn't it? So think about the viewer perspective. You are literally taking that little Google guy, that little Google Map guy, and dropping him wherever this is, okay? So you're going to want it to feel a little bit comfortable. So eye level is always more comfortable for a viewer because, normally you're not 20 feet in the air. I don't know anybody that tall. If you are, great. I need some things at the top shelf reached in my house. I could really use you for. But eye level, okay? And this is your viewer. So when they put on the VR goggles, this is what they're going to see from this perspective. They're going to see me real up close, and they're going to see you guys, okay? This is your viewer. Think of him that way. There's also a game I like to play. It's based off of Where's Waldo? It's called Where's the Producer? And this is always fun because you don't have a start and an end to a frame. You have 360. So you'll normally see at the beginning of a clip the producer going, oh God, I gotta hide. Because you can see that person. So I have to hide behind trees. Some producers are getting in boxes within the scene in order to direct. That's fun. So play a game with yourself sometimes. If you can't find the producer and you can't find Waldo, they've done a good job. Okay? Where's the producer? Transitions. So there's a thing in video that we call jump cuts, or jump cuts are basically impossible movements to make as an entity, as a human being, okay? So I can't go from here to there in a flash yet. Wait for it, it'll come. So from here to here, teleporting is my thing. From here to here, okay? So that's called a jump cut. So now instead of having that start and end to your frame, that view frame, it's harder to cut from shot to shot because you'll have a wonderful waving tree or a car going by, that if you cut to the next shot, it may look good over here, but over here, there's a car that's there and then disappears, okay? So you have to pay attention to your entire 360 video. It takes brain power, okay? Totally achievable, just takes brain power. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into some editing, okay? So we have our 360 footage, we've gone out, we've pressed record, we've captured our video, okay? It's all stored on here. You've gone through the app, through LG 360 Cam, which can be on Apple, and it can be on Android. I think it can be on Windows. I don't know. I don't have a Windows phone, I have an Android phone. You've downloaded it through your phone, whether that's video or photos. Now let's look at your computer, okay? If you guys actually joined me for the Premiere Tech Tuesday, so mastering the montage, you kind of have an orientation to Premiere, okay? On your desktop, what you will have is a 360 video folder. Do we see it? Yeah, all right, we did our job. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Premiere, so look into your start menu, and it's Adobe Premiere CC 2017. Okay, then we're gonna hit New Project. Okay. Name your project whatever your heart desires. So let's do 360. Then we're going to browse. And what you're doing right here is it's actually the most important part of Premiere. What you're going to be doing is setting up your project for future success. So you're not only naming your project, but what Premiere does in the background is it saves some of those automatic save files, some of those render files, things that you do in video, okay, that maybe you just don't see, but they need to save somewhere. Those files need to save somewhere. So you're setting this up right now, okay? So you're going to go to your desktop, and you're going to find that 360 video folder. And then you're going to select that folder. The reason why you want to do that is because if you take this project in its entirety from this computer to another computer, you don't want missing files. And when they're not in the same folder, your project breaks. Okay? So again, this is the most important part, setting up that project, getting it pointed in the right direction to have your save files and your video files. And then you can take it wherever you want to go. Okay? Once you have that done, hit OK. And the world of Premiere opens to you. Okay. So on your desktop, again, you have 3 pieces of video, okay? If you open up the video, what it's going to look like is a flat map, like our flat globe. Does that make sense? Don't do that. Do that. So you see how that's not stitched together? It's not in a globe yet? That's okay, because in the EXIF data, in that metadata, this camera and the app already told it needs to be that way eventually, okay? So don't panic if it's here. All right, so we're going to go back to Premiere, and the first thing you need to do to get your stuff in is File, Import. And then you're going to bring in all 3 clips. So select all 3 clips, and then open. So the 2 main important pieces, are we all there? Is everybody there? If somebody's not there, we can get you there. We good? Yeah, hey, how are you?
We don't have any videos on this.
Oh, yeah. I can fix that for you. Miss M? There you go. It's folder 360 video. Yep. See? Told you we can get you fixed. Okay. So the first two things is that you're not editing regular video, so your settings aren't going to be regular, okay? So you have this, you have your video already in there. The first thing you want to go do is check your sequence settings, okay? Just kidding. Go ahead and click and drag one of those files in there. Then you can check your sequence settings. So click one of your clips and drag it over here. Everybody there? Okay. So sequence settings. VR properties, okay? You're going to come down here. Say that 10 times fast. Equirectangular. Okay, that's technically the term for that video that's a folded out globe. It's equirectangular. Then you're going to hit OK. This will be monoscopic, so it's one view. So when you put on your VR glasses, it's actually stereoscopic, which means it's in both eyeballs. Okay, monoscopic is just one view. Is everybody following along with me? Good? I like it when a plan comes together. Then you're going to hit OK. There's one more step. Right here in this program monitor, you're going to hit plus. And see this little button, toggle VR video display? It kind of looks like a hamburger. I like naming icons. You're going to click and drag that down into your palette here. So that's a control palette. It's going to let you control what's in that monitor. Okay? Is everybody there? Sure. So this plus sign here, it's a button editor. So it's where you can add and subtract buttons. This little thing that looks like a hamburger. You're going to click and drag it right into your button bar. From there, you're set up to edit 360 video. It may still look like this, but if you click this button, what you have is the ability to twirl around your video in 360. Does everybody see that? See if I can get that a little bit bigger for you. Because we don't need to know that. Da, 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 da. Guess where that is? That's the inside of the tower. Isn't that kind of neat? That's what the inside of the tower looks like in 360. So that's what makes all the fun little ringtone or the tones, and those are the speakers. All right, so is everybody where I am with the 360 toggle button? Good? Okay. So again, this does pull in video and audio. I'm going to get rid of my audio because nobody needs to hear that. And then you have a couple other clips to play with. So you can scrub through here. You can also turn this 360 toggle off, and you can see the whole view of what's on that 360 picture. So again, on and off, okay? You have full ability to edit just like you would any other clip. And how you do that is by clicking and dragging on any of your clips. Premiere operates on an in and out platform. So if you only want a portion of the clip, you select that portion. Let's say I want from here to here. Does everybody see that in this window, this preview window here? I only want from here to here. Come over to the point that you want, press I, and then come over to the point where you want it to end, press O. In and out, I and O, okay? And then you're going to click and drag, and you're just going to butt it up against something else that you want, okay? Your other clip. So what you see is that the shot changes, okay? And it's just in, out, click, and drag. So you can rearrange these clips if you'd like. So I know that this is actually the base of the tower, okay? It's the first tower layer, okay? So the other clip, I'm just going to move right up the tower, is going to be the one with the rails in it. This. I only want in, out, click, drag. And then all the way up until the top. In, out, wherever I want to. Click and drag. Okay? So if you toggle this button in VR, you're going to be able to toggle right around. See, told you it was the tower. You're going to be able to toggle right around, and then you can go through each clip, toggle right around, and you're going to end up seeing in 360. Okay? The other important, so how do I get it out of this? Like, how do I take it from this and get it to YouTube or get it to Facebook? So you're going to mark the entire sequence with, again, in and out. Okay? So you're going to go to the front of it, or the first part of the sequence, I for in. You're going to go to the end of your sequence, boop, boop, and hit O. So you're telling it, I want this portion to export. Okay? So all you're doing when you're doing I and O is saying, I want this portion. Okay? You're going to go to File, eventually, Export, Media, so the most important thing here to keep the data that tells it to be, that tells it to be a 360 video is match sequence settings. You're going to want to click that. So it's going to keep the aspect ratio. So in 16:9, you hear 1920 by 1080. If you throw back to 4:3, those are aspect ratios. This is a different aspect ratio because it's 360 degrees and it needs to match up together. So match sequence settings, you're going to be able to name and direct it wherever you want it to go, just like you would a Word document. I'm going to put it right in the same folder because why not? And then you're going to hit export. Is it going to let me do it? Bet you it won't. Can you guys hit export? See if I can guess this. That's a good idea too. You're thinking with your noodle. There you go. Look at you. Okay. Try that again. So match sequence settings. Put it wherever you want to. Sure. Save. And then export. Okay. It's going to take a hot minute, but that's okay. But that's how you get it out, okay? So what it will do from there is within the EXIF data, within that metadata, in that file, it's going to keep that data in there. So when you upload it, it's going to automatically recognize as a 360 video and make it accessible in 360. Okay? Easy peasy. All righty. Do we have any questions for me right now? Juliana, how can I help?
Do you suggest compressing the video? So right now I'm exporting, and I got another about 3 minutes to go. Do you suggest compressing it or changing the format of the file?
That's a really good question. So when you export, I don't recommend compressing simply because different file formats will hold different data. So there are some file formats that may not hold that EXIF data in there, which may not tell it to turn 360. So I'd actually have to be able to tell you which one is safe. But I think your MP4 and your H.264 MP4 is going to be your safest bet. And whatever it imports as, it holds that data inside that file. Anybody else? We have any questions from Twitter?
We do not.
I've done my job.
But how would you make a stereoscopic 3D 360 video?
Wow. Okay, so stereoscopic 3D 360.
Well, you were talking about how that is monoscopic,
Yeah.
and so stereoscopic would be in like both eyeballs if you were to watch it through like a VR headset.
Right.
So how would you make that?
So you would come in here the same exact way. Let's stop this. La 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 la. Sequence settings. And you would actually change that to stereoscopic. And there's over, under, and then there's side by side, so you have to know kind of which device. But when you upload this to YouTube, oh, this one I can't do, see? I can't lower that. When you export it and you bring it into YouTube or you bring it into Facebook, have you ever seen that little icon? That automatically, for VR viewers, that will automatically put it in stereoscopic for you. So as long as you have, you export this as monoscopic and it goes to 360, that little, it looks like Google Cardboard right in the corner of your YouTube video, that will make it monoscopic for you so you can use it. So as long as you really remember that monoscopic. But if you want to, it will hold the stereoscopic settings as well. Anybody else? Yeah, cool. Do we all get it? We can actually check out our 360 cameras at our Tech to Go desk. So we do have a handful of them. I know. See, now you're excited. We do have our 360 cameras for you to check out, okay? You only need your OSU ID. I believe these are, and Shannon can probably holler at me, they are a 3-day checkout. Most of our tech is a 3D checkout or 3-day checkout. We have GoPros, we have video cameras, we have microphones, we have tripods, we have 360 cameras. And in our creative studios, in our Windows Creative Studios, we have Premiere, okay? So you can go from start to finish in this room, okay? So keep in mind, you can do that. We have Final Cut. I haven't used Final Cut in a little while because I like Premiere. I do like Final Cut, but I like Premiere as well. So I'd have to look into the details, but if you need any assistance, our helpful staff at Tech2Go can walk you through Final Cut Pro and some of these details as well.